Hi lovely people, hopefully you're all alright. Sorry for being a little bit late, Facebook's been a bit of a nightmare. I haven't seen any questions sent in ahead, so you still have a chance. Unfortunately my map's gone, it fell off, so I'm waiting for the maintenance guy to come back to us, so I'm really sorry if you've got to stare at those little stains. It is there in the corner of the room. Hi Jan, you okay? So as we promised, we did a bit of research on Facebook, because Facebook, to be honest, it's really hard to figure out what Facebook wants these days, because they keep on changing their mind and they come up with all these brilliant ideas. Some of them will work, some of them are actually going to flop. I can already see that happening, that some of the Facebook initiatives are not going to live for long. So, how they rank content, who do they show your content to, why will they show it, do hashtags really matter on Facebook, or what matters really? So, they've got a ranking algorithm for every single content that's out there, and there's a lot. I mean, there's loads of people who will go like multiple times a day because they don't have anything else to do, posting every hour. Have a look what I've just eaten, have a look what how my coffee looks like, whatever. So obviously they will need to rank it by quality and value. So at the moment the ranking is based on how much interaction your content gets, and something that Facebook calls ranking signals. And there's three major ranking signals in Facebook. One of them, it will be surprising, because about 1 or 2 years ago, people said, oh, you need to use your personal profile, you've got to use your personal profile, you've got to max out your 5,000 connections. And I said, no, but that's business, so you shouldn't be doing that. And it looks like there is something behind it now, because they actually will show your content to people you usually talk to or interact with or comment and like their photos or posts. So it's really important that you've got the right connections. And I'm guilty, yes, I do filter my connections. We need to have at least 100 shared connections, and they need to be a friend of a friend and stuff like that, and all of them are in place. But my list of connections is, it's not nowhere near 5,000, but there are some people who should go, because I don't really want them to be on my profile, simple as. And even though I banned a few people, it's really important that you, I would say, book a couple of hours of your time when you're not doing anything anyway, or waiting for the plumber to turn up or something like that. Just go for it and just get rid of the people who are never going to buy from me anyway, or who are just there doing nothing. Call them like the lurkers. So just get rid of them, because it's based on who you interact with. So replace them with people who are genuinely the people you want to be connected with, maybe potential customers. It doesn't mean you've got to add everyone who might be interested in your service. Don't go on a rampage like that. Just make sure that it is genuine and you're sharing at least one interest. I mean, Ian, oh, hi! You okay? I just like your page. There you go. Welcome to the group, by the way. If you've got any questions, just let me know. Just send a comment in and I'm going to answer them. So we were just talking about who people who Facebook is going to show your content to. And one of the ranking factors is who you usually interact with. So me and Jan, we usually comment on each other's posts and like each other's posts and stuff like that. So I see loads of Jan's stuff, and she says, I bet she's fed up with my stuff. So that I can actually confirm that some of my personal friends are commenting on the things I shared from the business because I interact with them quite a lot. The other ranking factor is the type of media you're posting. So is it a photo, is it a video, is it a link? I always tell people that you should be mixing it up, so don't just use one format or one image or one type of video. Just use different formats to see which one will get the most engagement, because even though there's general rules and ranking factors, it doesn't take into consideration your audience and what your audience is looking for. And obviously, the more popular your post gets, the more it will be shown, because Facebook will think, oh, that's some quality stuff. Let's just send some more traffic to it. So this is the three main ranking factors of Facebook. However, when it comes to videos, it looks like Facebook does favor live videos. So Facebook Lives over, for example, a commercial video that a videographer's done. And the other thing is that it favors longer videos. So you've got to make sure that you are staying online a little bit longer, or you're creating content, even a video article that's going to be longer, because it will measure the engagement based on how many minutes people watched of your content, and that's a really important thing when it comes to monetizing your site. I don't know if I'm going to do something about Facebook monetization. I think I'm going to wait a little bit until they figure out what they want, because they've got so many things. The article distribution, they've got the paid events, they've got the stars for the gaming. So but I don't think all of them are going to stay. So I will just sit back for a couple of weeks, and maybe I will talk a little bit about monetization. I'm not sure, but at the moment it's pretty much messed up on Facebook. They want to make money, but they are making it so hard for you to qualify to make money with them that it's just not worth spending your time on it. So the main question is, I'm sorry, I got a little bit of, it's not a cold, it's more like sniffies. I don't know where I got it from, to be honest. I've been alright last week, but come on, we've got no opening windows in the office because we are on ground floor, so it's a little bit tricky. And I don't think that the aircon filter's been changed in the past 10 years, so sorry if I'm a little bit quieter than I usually am. So the tips to succeed with the Facebook algorithm, we created 5 tips. I'm actually going to post it in the chat. However, we will have an infographic coming out plus a video as well that I already got the team to work on. So number 1 is to start conversations that get people talking to each other. So you don't want to be in the center of attention, you want to start a conversation. Just one rule of thumb, just please don't start with talking about controversial things. I know it's a clickbait and loads of creeps are getting loads of engagements over who got fined for breaking the rules or whatever. It's not the right way. It's got to be meaningful and it's got to be relevant to your business. So for example, if you are a photographer, you can ask people, post me a photo of the last photo on your uh, post me the last photo from your phone. Something like that, something fun, something that people want to engage with, and something that will encourage user generated content, because that's what Facebook is looking for. It's pretty much user generated. Facebook doesn't really create content. The content Facebook creates is crap. I mean, have you ever looked at the Facebook documentations and the Facebook developer tool articles? Oh my god, seriously. So they don't don't create any content whatsoever, and that's the reason we are doing this live, because it's really hard to get free. And so make sure that you are engaging with your audience and you encourage um, discussions within the group. So at the moment, I will talk about it a little bit later, but at the moment Facebook favors groups and pages over individuals. And why? Simple, they want to make money. So, and people who have a page or a group are more likely to monetize that, and then Facebook will take a cut. Number two, this is something that's easy to monitor if you've got a content scheduling system, or you've got any software that monitors your activity, which is post when your audience is online, and it's so easy to find out. I don't know what you're using, Jan. We use Social Pilot, and it actually shows me the graph when people are online. But even some of the SEO software that works with your plugins and your social media, so post data from social media will tell you when your audience is online. So for example, this week I got a notification on one of the software saying, your last post was at 11 o'clock. We advise you to change the schedules to closer to 6 o'clock, because that's when your audience, most of your audience is online. So I said, okay, give it to the team, change the schedules. Simple as. It's such a small change, and it's going to make a massive difference in your social media. Obviously, if you've got an international audience, it's a little bit trickier, so you might just want to change it due to the time zone differences. And there's another thing we've got to focus on, which is consistency. Yeah, Jen talks about it so much, being consistent, and I know I'm not really good at it, so I do have a plan, and then things happen, and clients email and clients call and websites break, and then I just forget about it, and then there's nothing happening. However, I dropped that hat, so I gave it to the team, and the team takes care of all the schedules. If something breaks within the software, can you have a look at it? So it's important that you're consistently sending out the same message with the same brand, same image, so people can actually remember and recognize you, because that's where branding comes in the picture. So I wouldn't say post multiple times a day. You could if you wanted to, but at least 3 times a week. Just stay on top of your social media. There's so many free scheduling tools as well. There's no excuse why you can't do that. Number 4 is if you are really struggling to get your content seen, maybe you are in a competitive niche, you could run Facebook ads, but the rule of thumb is, as Jem will tell you, never ever hit the boost button, because it's only going to make Facebook money, never will never make you money. So make sure that you know what you're doing when you're boosting when you're setting up a Facebook ad, and never start with like a £2 budget, because it will not go anywhere. So it's just throwing money out of the window, really, in my opinion. Right, and the final thing in this list of succeeding with the Facebook algorithm is how not to behave on Facebook and how to avoid being downranked. Downranking is like a Google penalty, but it's a Facebook penalty when your content is basically crap. So Google knows, Google speaks quite good English now, so it knows when the content was created by robots or Indians or people with English as second language. I mean, my English is my second language, but you know what I mean. And it downranks the content. The same happens on Facebook, but Facebook also knows the images and the video. So one of the surefire ways of getting downranked is links to sites that are not valuable, or they store content, or they're just really low quality, or not secure. That's another thing. SSL certificate is free from most of the hosting companies, so there's no reason why you shouldn't have one. So never link to a site that doesn't have SSL, which is the HTTPS at the top with the padlock, but Jan can explain it to you. The second way of getting Facebook to penalize you is posting something offensive. So it doesn't have to be illegal, it doesn't have to be porn, but it can be a bit controversial or mention some of the issues that Facebook doesn't like talking about, anything legal, anything that can trigger an argument or a lawsuit. They want to stay away from it, so they rather get rid of it. It's because of the fake news scandals and stuff like that. It's really important that you check your content, but you also buying content. What do you mean, Jan? Buying content? Buy this and never have to worry again packages. You mean on social media? Is it social media? If it's social media, I think it's bull crap. Oh, I've seen it. Is it like we take care of your all your social media down for 12 months? The trouble with that, in my opinion, is that they don't know what you're looking for, so they don't ask any questions, do they? So I think it's absolutely no, it's not on brand. I actually had some clients and I said, look, I really can't figure out what you really want from your social media. I will I would done for you, but you do the most. If you are challenged graphically and they get your brand, it's alright. But if they don't ask any questions, then stay away from them. So if they make you fill out, for example, a brand sheet where you tell them about what you would like to do, what your brand persona is about, what your main colors, your style is, then I would definitely say yes. But I don't think that they will do all that. If they don't want to understand your brand, then they are never going to understand who your audience is, and if they don't know who your audience is, you're wasting your money. I don't know if you agree with that, Jan, but I think that's what I think. It's templated. I know most of the people, they use a Canva template for everything. Just change the colors. So it's more like an admin kind of service, a VA type of service. If they get if they ask you the questions and they get it right, it's fine, but most of the time, 99% of the time, they are not going to do it. And it's got to fit in with your marketing plan and your marketing strategy. You can't just focus on one platform, Facebook, and expect the work to happen. Does that answer your question, Jan? Oh yeah, and the other thing about generic content is that Facebook will say that it's the same format. Absolutely, it's got to be tailored to your brand. It's got to showcase your superpower. And if it doesn't, because it's just a template, you can get a robot to do it pretty much. I mean, I've been offered software that will do articles and will do the social media content automatically. I'm not interested. Yeah, absolutely. It's really got to. You've got to stand out, and there's like billions of people on Facebook, and with a generic post, you're never ever going to stand out. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I've seen some ads that look the same as the previous one, as the previous one. I just click away. Yeah, so I mentioned the fake news. Oh, okay. That's one of our main questions we ask the clients. What's your superpower? Because if they don't know, how are we going to promote them? It's not going to happen. So maybe they've got to go to a business coach and figure it out before they can come to us. Because without that, we can't just promote. Oh, I'm just. It always reminds me, you see, when I see these generic posts on Facebook and everywhere else. You know, when you log into Facebook and set up your sorry, not Facebook, your WordPress. You set up your WordPress, and it comes up with the sample post which says just another WordPress site. And those posts actually shout just another plumber, just another videographer, just another whatever VA. So it's just not going to happen. I've seen. Oh yeah, it's also there's another thing that I wanted to tell you about that you should stay away from is like third things that haven't been verified. So it's like when you're doing your academic research, and I'm helping my daughter do her psychology assessment and essay and stuff, and it's got to be peer reviewed. So if it's not peer reviewed, then it's not a proper source of secondary research. And that's the same if you are saying, oh, this will reduce your blood pressure. Okay, who said that? And if no one said that, or if you can't prove it, Facebook will flag it up. And if Facebook flags it up, you're in trouble, because you will never ever get on top of the list of distributing your distribution, so your content won't be shown to other people. So I think you and me, Jan, we are different from VAs and PAs, because their job is more like manual and admin and stuff like that, and there's loads of talented graphic designers. I'm not saying there aren't in third world countries, but if they don't ask the right questions about your brand and what you are trying to do, it's a waste of money. You can flush it down the loo as well. Right, 2021 changes. Alright, we finally got there. So prioritization of groups and events. So if you are not doing events, you should do events. Even if you start with free events like I do. I've actually had quite a few paid events on Facebook as well. They give you, I think they give you about 70% or something like that of the ticket sales. It's really easy to do, and they will always be prioritized over just generic posts, because they want you to educate your customers and provide value instead of just shouting at them from left, right and center. Hashtag, so the answer to the hashtag question, which is, do hashtags work on Facebook? Yes, they do. They are at the moment implementing a recommended hashtag pop-up. So when you're posting, just like LinkedIn has, if you're using LinkedIn, so they will have a pop-up that says recommended tags. So it's definitely going to come in. So it's better to start doing your hashtag research right now. And the superpower, yeah, you love the superpower, Jen. So Facebook's superpower that was introduced in 2020 is Facebook is intelligent enough to recognize low quality content. So something that like spam, for example. Would you like to invest $300 and then you will get $30,000 back in a month? No, that's scam. Facebook knows that. It's not going to rank that type of content. Clickbait, so it always reminds me of the Mirror. I think Mirror's got these headlines like discover on the paid ads section. This 32-year-old husband went back and found this in the bath or something like that. That's an example of clickbait. Just don't do it. It's just like so cheap. Unless you're I think it's Mirror. I don't know. I don't read newspapers, but I think it's the Mirror that's got those things on the website. And confusing brand message. So just don't confuse people. One day I'm a business coach. Next day I'm a personal coach. Then I'm a nutritionist, and then I'm a fitness trainer. Facebook knows. Facebook is smart enough to figure out what you're talking about. Are you consistent with what you are trying to do? There's a couple of no-nos just quickly. Images, you make sure that you've got the right to use the images, because if it gets flagged up, you will get a lower ranking on Facebook, so make sure that you've got the right. There's so many image sharing sites where you can get free quality images. If you've got Canva Pro, you can get images, videos, anything you want. Group, if you do have a group, it's really important that you keep your group very, very clean. So admin activity is monitored by Facebook. You've got to make sure that you're getting rid of the spam and the harassment and inappropriate content, because if your group gets banned from Facebook, then you won't be able to create another group for 30 days at least. So, plus moderation is really important, because Facebook doesn't do the work, so you've got to do the work, and all the content on Facebook is user generated. So admin, if you don't have time, just appoint another person in the company who will do the admin and the moderation of your group, because it's really important to keep it clean. They will always spot the group admins who are not active, and they will get rid of the group. So just because you've got a group, it doesn't mean you can just let it be and people take care of it. It doesn't work like that. Finally, there's a new thing which is related to health-related groups. So if you've got anything with nutrition or health eating, anything like that, you might have noticed that your visibility has gone down. It's because they've gone down on fake news about COVID and things like that, so they are really careful what they allow to be put out there on their platform, because obviously they don't want any more lawsuits. It's simple as that. That's what they want. Anything else there? Consistency, respond to comments and questions. So it's all about engagement. Facebook pages, Facebook groups, and Facebook posts are all about engagement. So if you get a like, a comment, get in touch with the person. And when it comes to videos, the rule of thumb is that it's got to be at least 3 minutes, just to make sure that that's what Facebook favors. So it's got to be over 3 minutes. And the more minutes people watch in your groups or on your pages, the better you will do. So that's pretty much it. I think I've got quite a few more tips, like bite-sized tips, that I will put on in the group. However, we will have an infographic and a video just to recap the whole thing. When it comes to Facebook, I think Facebook wants to help you if you are genuine. It's not easy. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is possible if you are connecting with the right people. So, number one, but you're welcome, Agnes. Number one, clean up your connections. So you don't want people who are just lurking around. Number two, create a brand presence and a goal, and reverse engineer your marketing, and maybe focus a little bit more on hashtags and videos that are longer. So that's pretty much it from me, unless you've got any questions. But even if you will have questions after, just let me know and I'm going to answer them. Just post them under this video and I'm going to answer them later. Facebook is not that bad, to be honest. You just have to do it right, and you've got to avoid all these clickbaits and these done for you easy buttons. They are just going to end in tears, as Jen and me can tell. Thanks very much for today, and I don't know what I'm talking about next week, but it is in the schedule, so I will share it next week anyway. Enjoy your weekend if I don't see you until then, and have a good evening. Bye.